Switzerland, a country famous for its precision, its chocolate, its neutrality, and its ability to run like a perfectly tuned watch. But beneath this polished surface lies something curious, something invisible, something deliciously divisive. It's called the Röstigraben. And no, it's not a real trench. There are no fences, no guards, no warning signs. But ask any Swiss person and they'll tell you it's very real. Today, we're diving into the story of Switzerland's most famous imaginary border, where language, culture, and even humor subtly shift, sometimes over something as simple as a plate of potatoes. Let's start with the basics. The word Röstigraben literally translates to Rösti ditch or Rösti trench. Rösti, of course, being the beloved Swiss dish of crispy grated potatoes, golden, comforting, and unmistakably Swiss German. The Graben part. That's the trench. Put together, it describes the cultural divide between Switzerland's German-speaking regions and its French-speaking regions. On one side, you have Swiss German speakers, the majority of the population. On the other, the French-speaking Swiss, primarily in the west. And somewhere in between lies the Röstigraben. Switzerland isn't just bilingual, it's officially quadrilingual. German, French, Italian, and Romansh all coexist within this relatively small country. But the biggest divide? That's between German and French. The German-speaking region, often called Deutschschweiz, makes up about 2/3 of the population. The French-speaking region, Romand, accounts for roughly a quarter. These aren't just different languages, they come with different cultural influences. German-speaking Switzerland often feels closer to Central Europe, structured, efficient, sometimes reserved. French-speaking Switzerland? A bit more relaxed, more expressive, with a cultural flavor influenced by France. And while everyone is Swiss, the differences are noticeable. So where exactly is the Röstigraben? Well, that's the thing. You won't find it on a map. It roughly follows the linguistic border, running through the country from north to south. Cities like Fribourg and Biel or Bienne sit right on this cultural fault line, places where both languages and cultures blend in fascinating ways. You can literally cross a street and hear a different language. Walk a few minutes? Un café, s'il vous plaît. Same country, different rhythm. The Röstigraben isn't just about language. It has historical roots. Back in the early formation of the Swiss Confederation, the German-speaking cantons were dominant. Over time, French-speaking regions joined, bringing their own traditions and perspectives. Religious differences also played a role. Protestant versus Catholic cantons shaped alliances and tensions. And later, during major European conflicts, the divide became even more visible. Fast forward to today, and the Röstigraben still shows up, especially during national votes. Switzerland is famous for its direct democracy, where citizens vote regularly on all kinds of issues. And time after time you can see a pattern. German-speaking regions vote one way, French-speaking regions vote another. It's not always the case, but often enough to make headlines. In fact, Swiss media frequently uses the term Röstigraben when analyzing election results. It's like watching a country debate with itself, in 2 languages. Now, let's talk about the fun part, stereotypes. Because yes, Swiss people absolutely joke about the Röstigraben. German-speaking Swiss are often seen as punctual, efficient, rule-following, and slightly reserved. French-speaking Swiss? Relaxed, expressive, a bit more spontaneous, and, maybe, fashionably late. Of course, these are stereotypes, and like all stereotypes, they're exaggerated. But they do reflect real cultural tendencies that people notice in everyday life. And then, there's the food. Rösti is the symbol of the German-speaking side, simple, hearty, comforting. On the French-speaking side, you'll find dishes more influenced by French cuisine, refined, varied, and sometimes a little more fancy. So yes, the Röstigraben is literally a potato-based metaphor for cultural identity. Only in Switzerland could a national divide be named after a side dish. If there's one thing that truly defines the Röstigraben, it's language. Swiss German itself is a whole universe, actually a collection of dialects that can vary dramatically from one region to another. And here's the twist. Swiss German is mostly spoken, not written. Meanwhile, French-speaking Swiss use Standard French, much easier to learn if you already speak it. So for many Swiss people, crossing the Röstigraben isn't just cultural, it's linguistic. Even if you learn German in school, understanding Swiss German can feel like learning a new language all over again. So what happens when people cross the Röstigraben? Well, not much, honestly. People work, travel, and live across language regions all the time. But they do notice the differences. A meeting in Zurich might feel more structured. A meeting in Lausanne might feel more conversational. Customer service styles, humor, even small talk. It all shifts slightly. It's subtle, but it's there. The Swiss love poking fun at this divide. There are jokes about it, cartoons, even memes. One classic joke goes something like this. In German Switzerland, everything is forbidden unless it's allowed. In French Switzerland, everything is allowed unless it's forbidden. It's playful, not hostile, because at the end of the day, the Röstigraben isn't a conflict, it's a conversation. So, does the Röstigraben still matter? Yes and no. Yes, because cultural differences are real and visible, but no, because Switzerland has built a system that embraces those differences. Multiple languages, decentralized government, strong local identities, it all works together. Instead of forcing uniformity, Switzerland leans into diversity. And somehow, it works. In many countries, divisions like this might create tension. In Switzerland, they create balance. Different perspectives lead to debate. Debate leads to compromise, and compromise leads to stability. The Röstigraben isn't a crack in the system, it's part of the design. So next time you visit Switzerland, remember, when you cross from one region to another, you're not just changing language, you're stepping into a slightly different world. A world where potatoes might mean more than you think. A world where diversity isn't just tolerated, it's built into the foundation. And a world where even a divide can bring people together. The Swiss Röstigraben, not a wall, not a border, just a reminder that even in the most unified countries, differences make life a little more interesting.